time is this now? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start again. 6 lines from the top on Yud Beis Amud Aleph. They had an alleyway that went through and through from one city to the next city. So from they to the new city that they wanted to that they always had the shortcut to. The Bnei wanted to shut down the alleyway from them being able to go in, from being able to take the shortcut from their city.
To another side.
So the people of that city, we could hold them up from closing up the city because they have a right. There's a union of Husaku Rabin as the Rabbim that they always have the right of way to go from this alleyway as a shortcut.
This is like private people?
No, the city wanted to close it because they didn't want us to have a shortcut coming into the city. Maybe it causes more traffic. They wanted to shut it down. They couldn't.
Because they already.
They had already that path to go into the city, that shortcut. So let me buy you like a Nishna, not only in a place where they didn't have any other shortcuts, that they cannot stop this shortcut, close it up from them coming into the city. Even if they had a different shortcut to go from their city to the other city,
they still cannot
and they have which is a second shortcut, they can't shut any of the shortcuts. Nishum, the Rabbi Yehuda Amarav, because of Rabbi Yehuda Amarav, the Amma Meitzar, path שהחזיקו ברבים that the Rabbim שהם gemacht HaChazaka to be able to use this shortcut, also calculate. They are not allowed to ruin that. Rabbim שברו דרך לעצמם, מה שברו ברו. That's it. What they made, what the path that they made, that's how it stays. And this is a concept that you'll find in other cases as well. This concept of called Meitzah She'chziku Beirabim. A path that the Rabbim Shem Yemach L'Chazaka. Sagt die Gemara, Rav Ono Amar Shmuel. Rav Ono said the name of Shmuel. Mavui Sam Falosh L'Shus Rabbim. Those alleyways that go to the Shus Rabbim, you have a whole bunch of chatzeris. Let's say it's a dead end, right? And you have houses on both sides that open up into the alley, exactly like on Carroll Street. But you have a mine goes through and through. But there's the alleyway of Mendel Roxon across the street is a dead end. You can't go through and through. Okay, such an alleyway, but it opens up to Kingston Avenue. Opens up to Kingston Avenue. So what happens over there? So he says, where we
it's like a half alley. He says.
What?
It's like
a half alley? No, it's a dead end alley. Yeah. And the people of the alleyway decided, you know what? We want to close the door at the end of the alleyway that the Rishus Harabim shouldn't be able to go through the alleyway. It says, no, Bnei Rishus Harabim, the Bnei of the Rishus Harabim could stop that. We always, whenever we used to whenever the traffic was so heavy, we would end up going a little bit into the alleyway. So we always had a chazaka in the alleyway. So you can't put a door there. It's for the Rabbim.
Every single person.
No, you can ask Kasha. Just because when there's a big traffic, they end up in your living room. So you have to ask them permission if you're allowed to. If they're in your living room because there's so much traffic, so you're not allowed to close your door from letting them in your living room. It's not the same thing. We're talking about an alleyway. Alleyway is the chfart. It's nicht. Yeah. Anyway, so it's Bnei Rishus Harabim have a chazaka. That's it. So we thought, how do you when were these words said?
The city people, or the government?
Not just the government. The ones that want to put up the door is those that live in the city could stop it. Yeah. Something
But the main complaint is the guys that live by the alley.
But closest to the end of the alley.
Yeah,
so
people that does not go through their house.
Right. So they wanted to put a door, but the city could stop it because we always end up going in there. What?
The guy says no entries here, it's private alley, but it's not a private. He doesn't want anybody traveling.
Right, but he can't stop it. Subminate In the beginning, the Talmudim thought,
One time talking about the hardware store where the guy staying with a stick. My property can't go through here.
Really?
He understand with a stick.
Okay.
Remember that? Yeah.
wow, something at the beginning, the Talmudim, I didn't know the Talmudim of the words of Rabbanan. When were these words said? B'dalet Hamas. That's only up to Dalet Hamas, but maybe after the Dalet Hamas you could put a door. Maybe they end up going up to 6 feet inside, not the whole alley. Sagt die Gemara, Kinder Rabbi Zeira, Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Rav Zeira, Amar Rav Nachman, Abba Amis, Hasmos L'Shus Rabim, Kishus Rabim Damya. The 4 Amis that are of the alleyway that's within the Rishus Rabim, that's considered as a Rishus Rabim. Says Gemara B'lai, it's not so. Hasam Leini Tuma, it's only been a gate to Tuma that we considered the first 4 Amis as a Safik Tuma Rishus Rabim. So a Safik Tuma Rishus Yachid is Min Lahachme, is Tameh. Safik Tumim Rishus Rabim is Memeiko. So he says that the first 4 feet in the alleyway has a din like a Rishus Rabim. That's a Safik Tumim Rishus Rabim, and therefore would be Meiko. Says the Gemara, but over here we're not talking about Tumah. But over here we're not talking about Mitzat Tumah. Here we're talking about the overflow of people. Sometimes end up till the end of the alleyway where there's so many people. So the Gemara. Now he continues in the Hemshech of the Mishnah. He said, one cannot force his friend to divide a field, in half, till each one, after the division, will be left with 9 kavim to work the field, each one. And then there was another Tana in the Mishnah that said, no, after the division, each one has to be left with 9 half kavim, not 9 full kavim, 9 half kavim. So the Chayritz HaMachlekes says, V'loi plika. They're not arguing. Ma kiyase or ma kiyase. Each one was talking about his place. Meaning, in the place where we said you need only half a kavim, because the property was so good, so it was a double choshev, even for a 9 half kavim, which is only 4.5 kavim. Right. They said that was that place. It grew. You were able to say and make. So zachatich ruya is kavod. But in the other place where they said you need 9 kavim, the feld is given shmach. So in order to be a chatich ruya is kavod, you needed 9 kavim for each one in order to force the other one to divide it. So you might have been Bavel. In Bavel, the karka is even worse than the place where we said that 9 kavim for each. What's the share of Rav Yosef? Bei rodu yoma. Enough that you can hire workers that should plow for a full day. So that means that you don't want to have a worker. If he's going to hire workers, they're going to work there at least for a full day, because then it's good. If they're going to work only half a day, he's going to have to pay them for the full day, so it's a loss for him. We want to give him enough karka that if he hired a worker, it would be a full day of work, and he would be getting his money's worth. That's not a half a day. What's the case of Beiradu Yema? There was 2 seasons when they plowed. There was a time that they plowed after the reaping, after the cutting, which then it was a hard plow. The grounds were hard. And then you had the plowing, which was before the planting, so it's the second time that you're plowing, so the earth is even soft, easier. Says Gemara,
you can take Saturday over here could be a half a day.
Right, that's what he's going to say. Now you're jumping, but yeah. So Gemara, if the Kavanah is talking about that it's the time of the first Charisha, you're not going to have 2 days of plowing. You're going to have 1.5 days. But b'peil mamish, you're not going to have 2 full days. The second day is only going to be a half a day. And being that the second day is only going to be a half a day, you're going to lose money because you have to pay for the full day. And if you're talking about the second plow, says you're not going to even have 1 day of plowing because it's already the second plow, which is already, like you said, soft. It'll be so it's only going to be a half a day. So we could say it's talking about the day of the second plow. So you're going to ask me, so why should it take a full day? It says the cut of the ton, he does 2 plows. He does a plow before the seeding, the normal plow. Then he seeds it, and then he plows again that the seed should go deep into the karka. So since he's doing two, it takes a day. Or you could say it's the first plow, which is which takes more, 1.5 days. So why would it take 2 days? It would take just 1.5 days. It's Bahadude. It's talking about the karka was hard to karka. Here he brings another case. It was a bunch of rocks and it was hilly and it was hard to plow. So that's why it would take 2 days. What's the shear of dav? A bird that belongs to Shutvin that they used to fill up pails of water to water the field. Davla is a pit. Davla is like taking out water from a pit to water the field.
So wasn't it even a
That was
kval?
a pit?
Davla is a pit, correct.
There's even a kval basra.
Well water, it's Kenzine, yeah, kval basra. Well water, yeah.
They take over water.
Well water, okay. And it was a bird that belonged to Shutvin, right? So how much, so when could you force a chalukah? That's only if there's enough water for a whole day. Because if it's going to be less than a day, then he's going to lose. Because if it's only half a day, he's going to have to pay for the full day. Pardesa, affecting mother. What's with a pardesa? Here he's not talking about, there's two kinds of pardesas. When you say an orchard, you mean the pomegranates. Here he's saying pardesa means kerem, a vineyard. So by a vineyard, when could one force the other one to divide it? That after the division, each one will be left with 3 kavod. Because less than that, it's not called kerem. It's not called a vineyard. It's not called a pardes. Tanya Nami Hochi says, I'll prove to you that it has to be a minimum of 3 kavod. That after the division, each one should be left with 3 kavod. It says, I'm selling you a chelek from the vineyard. So Simcha Seima, loy yivchis mishleisha kam. Don't sell him less than 3 kavim, because then it's not called kerem. There's some gonish fakayif. You didn't sell him anything if you don't have a minimum of 3 kavim. So you see, by a division, in order to force somebody to divide it, each one has to be left over with 3 kavim. Rabbi Yosef had gesagt, Ein elu el adivri navias. These are only words of navias. He says, from Baranzi Kumna shir. I mean, this is a shir that he doesn't know where it came. So it's like almost like a bris, but it's a muzayin navias. So Rashi says it's taka navias. Teisa says lav dafke. So the Gemara, the Bavel, huh? No, the shir of three kavim. Oh, I hear what you're saying. No, he's saying 3 kavim is there's no svara behind it. So he says it must be what. But it's a different navis. If you look in the Tesis where it says, he says it's not lishmach to say that that they came up with the right of shear. They came up with something without a tam. But Rashi says no, it was actual navias. Where the kak is not so good, what will be the din then? He says you have to have 3 over here, 3 rows, and each one has to be left with 3 rows, and 12 in each row should be 12 vines. Okay?
So 12 little trees is
Like trees, 12 vine trees, but 3 rows, each row 12. That's 36 altogether. Each one has to be left with that. That's the only time. As much as it takes for a person to plow a whole day, that's the amount. 3 rows of 12 vines. That takes a day. That's a worker for a day. Now we're going already into Igadata. Rabbi Avdina from Haifa had said, from the day that the Beis Hamikdash was taken away, Nitla Nevuah min HaNeviim, the Nevuah has been taken away from the Neviim, Benitna leChachamim, and it was given to the Chachamim. Is then a Chacham Nishke Navi? Is a Chacham not right to be a Navi? And befrat we learn, Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu Masha Shechinasei Ela Al Giber Ashir V'Chacham. And so Chacham is one of the things. So how could you say that?
Usher also?
Huh? Yeah, that those are only if the Usher Chacham,
As again,
a Gibber Chacham and Usher.
it has all three things.
All three,
together.
yeah. So it says Gemara Chacham is not an Ishkin Navi. So the here we're saying Hakikama. He says first I want to say that's not really the kash over here. So he wants to say Chacham Ken Zayin Navi. We know Chacham is a Navi. Says the Gemara Hakikama Afa Pisha Nitla Min Navi Min Chacham Lo Nitla. By the Chutbei Samikdash, the Navius was taken away from the Navi, from the simple people. What's the difference between a Navi and a Chacham? Because there, the Stam Navim were not loved after Chachamim. Like Bilam was a Chacham, but he missed being a Onav. He had to be a Onav also. But I'm just saying, over here, this whole concept of Navius, as a Navi, Nishkin Chacham, that was taken away. But the Navius for Chachamim, meaning that wasn't taken away. The Chachamim still have Navius. We know that the Rebbe brings down the Tzemach Tzedek. His youngest son, the Rebbe Marash, when he was born, everybody else, he gave him the name of Shmuel. So everybody asked him, why'd you give the name Shmuel? So the Tzemach Tzedek quoted this Gemara. Chacham adif min Navi. We're going to say it right now. A Chacham is better than a Navi, meaning not that Lav Dafki was named after Chacham, it was named after a water carrier in Pelops. The Tzemach Tzedek named it after a tzaddik who was a water carrier. Yeah, but he says, Nicht allemal Navi is even hechste Dagem, bevzetlich, a Chacham is hecher. Here, Amma Amema hat gesagt, a Chacham adam a Navi. A Chacham is better than a Navi. Shenever, like it says in the pasuk, the Navi levav chachma. A Navi has the heart of a Chacham. See, me nitla b'mi. Who are you looking up to? You're saying a Navi. You're looking up to levav chachma, to the Chacham. So you see, the Chacham is greater. So haviyayma cotton nitla b'gadol. We say the cotton is always dependent on the gadol. So when it says Navi levav chachma, so Navi is the cotton, which is dependent on levav chachma. Abaye gesagt, take the Araya, don't Gaber Rabba Milsa. I'll bring a Araya that Navu was not taken away from the Chachamim, because there was a great person who said a specific thing. And then we find that the same thing that he said was said by another great sage. Rabba said, "My kusha, what's the kasha? Maybe here Mazal make Mazal main. We learned two Perushim. Mazal can mean the Malach that watches over Adam. A Behema Hatishke Mazal, he doesn't have a Malach watching over him. But Adam does. So that's why he doesn't fall or whatever. Just like that. Because he has the Malach protecting him. Here he means Das. Adam had Das.
If somewhere he falls, probably the Mazal is not there.
Maybe they both here we're learning mazel means they have the same das. That one mazel meaning the same thought. Sometimes you have the same shnit and they can come up with the same idea. That a great person said a specific thing. And it was said Mishmei Rabbi Akiva Rabbi Yosef Habasei. It was said in the name of Rabbi Akiva Rabbi Yosef that he said the same thing. Rabbi Akiva Rabbi Yosef. We know when it comes to Rabbi Akiva Rabbi Yosef, it says Moshe Rabbeinu said that Rabbi Akiva Rabbi Yosef is more worthy that the Torah should be given through him than me. Rabbi Akiva Rabbi Yosef was the greatest sage. Moshe Tafilin Shvashtan was Rabbi Akiva Zak when he sat down by his share. So he says Rabbi Akiva is the person that the Torah should have been given through him, more than Moshe Rabbeinu himself. And we find that a person would say something, a Tana, and he would come to the same outcome that Rabbi Akiva Rabbi Yosef said. How is that? So there must be that there's Nevi'us by Chachamim. Amar Avashi, my question, what's the kasha? There will not be about Mazliu. It doesn't downgrade Rabbi Akiva Rabbi Yosef in certain things. He reached to the same das. In Al's Nish, Rabbi Akiva Rabbi Yosef was much higher. So Hasnish can raya that they can't come up just because he came up with one din that came to the same outcome as Rabbi Akiva Rabbi Yosef, that means it had to be Navis? No, it could be he
Shemazon.
came out with the same schnit over there, but of course, Rabbi Yosef was much greater. So, sagt die Gemara, Avashi, my question was the Kash. Maybe when they get to this, he came up with the same schnit, the same outcome, only in this detail. But it doesn't mean that he had to be through Nevuah. Rabashi says like this: you have a great person who says a specific thing, and then we find out, and he finds out this is the halacha l'mashmisinai. What he's saying is the same thing as Allah l'mashmisinai. Das shenef shenevuah. So he says, no, I'm afraid maybe he's like a blind man who's looking for the window, and they put him in a dark room, and he just happened to tap on the exit, found the door right away. Is that Novi? He had muzzle, he found the door. So no, he gave a reasoning in the halacha, how he came to it, which ended up being halacha l'meish b'sinai anyway. So that's shenamdish. So that has to be nevuah, knowing the svara behind it. Sagt die Gemara Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan hat gesagt, "Mit Yom Shachar Beis Hamikdash nitla nevuah min hanavim and nitla shoitim ulitinoikes." Rabbi Yochanan said, from the day that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, nevuah was taken away from the Nevi'im and was given to shoitim and tinoikes. So he says,
Little babies?
children, and because they don't have das, and that's the only way that he brings down from the Maral. Maral says somebody who doesn't have a das, then he gets the nevuah. But if he mixed a mishcharein as the Geis Chacham, as the ganze Yashka, versteht besser von der so bis ja, he kommt zu sein, the nevuah is. Ain't not even who you can't know dabei. So he's like the Maral Aderech says. So he says, so the shaitim, where do we see that nevuah comes to shaitim? What's the example? He heard the Mabaravashi, like the story of Mabaravashi. The Havakas beristika de Mechayza. He was standing in the marketplace in the city of Mechuzah. Shamilahu Shaita the Kama. He heard the Shaita saying, Reish Mesifta the Malach, the Rosh Hashiva that's going to be appointed B'Masa Mechasya in the city of Mechasya. Tavyume Chosim. He signs his name Tavyume. Man Chosim Tavyumi. Who signs his name with Tavyumi? Ano. Mabaravash says, it's me. Shmamina Lididi Kamili Shaita. He says, oh, now is my time. I better be gechapt the Rosh Hashiva, the shtel. Come, Asa. It's Chavu, the Rabash, he got up and he headed out to Mechasya. And Asa, on his way to Mechasya, even though Rabbanon Ha'israel, Ravacha Medifta B'Reisha, they already appointed Ravacha Medifti. The Shaila here, he brings down the Shaila. L'chayda should go to the sun, just like Hamela goes to the sun. Ravashi was the Rosh Hashiva. Mar was Bar Ravashi, so he was the son of Ravashi. He should have taken over. So it says, but they appointed Ravacha Medifti. So he didn't get it yet. 1 second. So it says when it comes to maybe Ashtela as a Rav or Rosh Hashiva, then we don't go according to the children. We go to the most qualified. A melech is different. That's what he brings down. He brings down from the Kevitz Yudim, and that's he brings down being is Ayin Ramah Yeredeya Reish Mamhei Chabeis and Magen Avraham Yerechaim Yom Gibel. Anyway, that's what he brings down. So in the meantime, they appointed Avach Medifte, and Ma Baravash is on his way to Mechasya. Keeping the Shama Deasa, since they heard that he's coming, so they wanted him, notify him, like we're appointing somebody else. They sent a pair of Chachamim to take advice and assures to appoint Ravacha. Akvino, he says, hey, stay here for a little while. Mabar Vashi said, don't go back. Yeah, said, sit down, relax. Okay. Then, they send another pair of Rabbanim. Akvino, he said, you too. You guys sit down here too. Till it happened 5 times, till he had already 10 people. Even the Malabay Asara, since he had a gathering of 10 people, he became Rosh Hashiva. He appointed and became Rosh Hashiva right there and the nevuah of the Sheita was Niskayim. Why did he have to wait for 10 people? The fish ain't placed in the challah. You don't start the drasha of Rosh Hashiva and Achbara to become Achbara to Rosh Hashiva. You have approximately you don't do it less than 10 people. So you might create Rav Acha Anafshei. Rav Acha said about himself. Rav Acha was Nediftei, was supposed to become
he was
the Rosh Hashiva. So he said, Kol Amarin anyone that bin Hashemayim they do bad. Not that fast. You get the streak of luck. The Kol Amatin somebody has a streak of luck. Not so fast do they take him down. So he says, look, Rashi grabbed it. He got the opportunity. He chopped the Eisman's face. Not always do you get that opportunity. So
you should have made a drasha at the same time that they wanted it.
Okay. Okay. Well, it worked out for him. You see, the Shaita Nevi'is came through it. Yeah. Tinoi Kismai. Where do we see a child that has the same, has Nevi'is? Kiha, the basra Rav Chisda. Like the daughter of Rav Chisda. She was sitting on the lap of Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda's daughter was sitting on his lap. Rabbi and Rabbi Bachama was sitting in front of them. Amalor Rav Chisda said to his daughter, Man minayu bois. He asked the girl, the little girl, which one do you want to have as a husband? So Amalor Tavai, she says, I want both. So Rava said right away, I want to be last. So the Mefarshim that say Rava and Abai came from the family of Eli. So Eli's children had a curse that they wouldn't live long. So he made a cheshbon. If Rabbi Machama will be first and I'll be last, the Ma'aseh mit Rav Yosef and Rabba. Who should be? He knew that he's supposed to become a Rosh Hashiva for a couple of years. So Rav Yosef says, "I'll go after Rabba." Because he was relying on that Rabba will be long, and he took out Arichas Yamim because of Rabba's Arichas Yamim. Rav Yosef lived longer because he had to be Rosh Hashiva after him. And then I say here, Rabba said, "I'll go after," and he lived longer. So the Gemara, Amar Avdimi min Cheva. Rabbi Avdimi from Cheva said, "Kodim sheichel adam yishtav." Yeah, one. The first one passed away. Yes, you had Rabbi Machama first, passed away, and Rabbi had like Arichas Yamim. He lived because he was supposed to marry after Rabbi Machama, and Rabbi married him.
Single all these years?
Yeah. Rabbi Avdimi bin Cheva. Rabbi Avdimi from Cheva said, before a person eats and drinks, he has two hearts. You know, the cup of when you're hungry, you want everything. Mr. Tuma, you're not focused. Yeah, he's not focused. Once he eats and drinks, he has one heart and he can focus. Ish novuv yilaviv. It says that ish novuv means a person who's empty and he has nothing. He didn't eat. Yilaviv, he has two hearts. He has many. Yilaviv means many hearts. So the Gemara Uksiv, how do we know yilaviv means novuv means empty? What?
Why do you say he has a good appetite? Why does he have two hearts?
It means two hearts. It means that he can't focus. But if he eats and he's calm, he's able to focus. Uksiv, how do you know nevuv means on empty stomach? Uksiv nevuv luchis. It says when they gave to the mizbeach, they took hollow boards. Nevuv means hollow, empty, hollow boards. It means cholul. It means empty. So here it was empty stomach. Therefore, he had many hearts, so he couldn't focus. Somebody who's accustomed to drinking wine, even his heart is as if fleshed up, closed up, like by a psula, didn't live with any man. The wine will open him up. Like it says in the pasuk, wine, will open up the psulis, the closeness. Okay. The son of Yeshua hat gesagt, Pshita, chelik b'chei, v'chelik pasha. If the father left properties, So the Bechir gets a double portion. So he gets the portion just like the portion of the brothers. And then he gets, but he gets up equal chelik like the brothers, plus another chelik. So we say the chelik and the bechir and the chelik hapashid, yahavin achad mitzah. We give them next to each other. We don't give him. He gets a double chelik. Okay, we'll give you one field here and the other one in your Huppitz field. No, once he's getting two fields, you give them next to each other. It's not right. And then it was Eloi Chossi. Like this, he only has to hire one plow for the both fields, one worker, one.
Expensive.
Yeah. Like you want to Yavamai. What's if the Bechir died and the brother takes his place? So does he get he takes the place of the Bechir, so he's supposed to get a double portion. Do we allot to him also that the two fields should be next to each other? On Abaya, he. So Abaya, he has a din like a Bechir, and he takes the two Chalakim, and he takes it next to each other. My timer, because Bechir Kari Rachmana. He's called a Bechir, like it says, V'hoya Bechir Asher Teilet. It's talking about the brother that took over the Bechir, and they call him Bechir. Rabbi Amakra, it says in the pasuk V'hoya Bechir. It says V'hoya. So from V'hoya Haviyasek Bechir, he should be like a Bechir to take two Chalakim, but ain't Chalukasei Kibechir. But he doesn't get both fields next to each other. So you want to he's got to
pay for it.
Yeah, that's Well, money, cash is king. We'll let you take it if you pay the cash. Ahud the Zavan Ara, Mitzvah Devei Nasha. There was this one person who bought a karka next to the field of his father. He had a field next to the field of his father, and the father died. When they came, the brothers and the father died, and they came to divide the fields of the father. So Amalahu. So the brother who had had bought a field next to his father, he says, give me that field that's the father's field that I bought next to the father's field.
Like a
A bametza. Rabbi said, exactly. Absolutely. We forced them, the brothers, to give him the field next to the field that he bought next to the father. Maskal Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef, Yefek Tashayla. Amri Lei Achi. The brothers could say to him, Ma'alinan lei iluya kinixte devei bar Marion. He says this field that you want to grab from your father is a special field. It's like the great fields of Bar Marion. That it's rain comes in this field this piece of earth, for some reason the water comes there. So if we're going to give you this field, this is a very special field. We don't want to give it to you. You pay for it, you'll get it. Hilchsa Rav Yosef, Allah is like Rav Yosef, that they could taina, this field might be a better field.
That's too good.
Too good. Teya Arasa Atrei Nagri. Two brothers, they inherited two fields, and each one has its own stream of water. Okay, each field. So in such a case, we force the brother to give him the field. They both have streams. The field next to the field that he bought next to it. So there's two. The brother had bought a field next to the father's field.
No,
The father has two fields. What?
The last case, what just said.
Right. So two brothers inherited two fields. Each one has a little stream going through it from the river. And one of the brothers bought a field from before that had next to one of the fields. He demands the field that's next to his field that he bought. So Rabbi said, we force him, I'll pay him this day. Maskal Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef asked that question. The Zimnan, the high, middle, at times, this stream going to one field could dry up and the other one won't. I don't want to give you that field. Maybe we should divide it in a way that we both get from both streams, and we'll split it this way. So we have both. Each of us will have a stream, and that's it. We don't. I don't want to give you the whole field next to your field. So you wanna. So the Hilchsak Rav Yosef. It's a good taina. Now Allah is like Rav Yosef. That he doesn't have to give him the whole field that's next to the field he bought. Because one of he wants to have from both fields where the water is coming in, because one might dry up. So you want to tarte achad nigra. If two brothers inherit two fields, which they have the same stream, they're using the same stream. Now it's not two separate streams. Hey, what's he going to taina? It's the same stream. Here's a stream. There's two fields. You're getting from the
Those
same
here,
stream,
these
and I have a field there. Let me take the field next to mine. So it's such a case. We force him because of Midas Day. Abai asked the kasha. I'd rather be here in the middle. You hear? He has a field here. And the brother doesn't want to give him the field next to him. He says, I want to be in the middle. You get the field here, so I'll have workers and shmir from both of your fields because you're going to have to hire workers for this field and workers for this field. And I'm in the middle. I'm protected from both sides. He tells him. He says, I want the two fields from both sides. So I have many workers that they can, if I need help, everything, I'm acting, and I'm protected. I have so much access to workers. For to say I want to have the middle field because I want to have both fields on the sides, we don't know. That doesn't work. If you look in the picture, you have one side. You have it for sure. On Yud Gimel 1.
Yeah.
So look, you have a Nahar and Nachal. So if you divide it this way, if you divide it this way, one guy gets the Nahar and the Nachal, and you only get half the Nahar. But here you have Nachal and Nahar. So the best way to do it, he says, Palgin Bekanazel. You cut it up like a pie. So here you'll see the shaded area.
Here's a pie.
Here. So the white area is one brother, and the dark area is another brother. So they both get from the Nachal. You see Nachal.
So where the Nachal
And
go?
the Nachal goes from the stream, it goes into the fields.
So in the middle.
And then they both want from the Nar. So then they divide it up like this. He gets a little pie piece of the Nar, and he gets another pie piece of the Nar.
Also shows that.
Oh, so it works out that, okay. But here, this is mamish, made beautiful.
What is a pie?
The pie, here you have the darker one and the lighter one. The two brothers are getting from the Nachal, and the darker one and the lighter one, the two brothers are getting from the Nahar. Okay, we'll stop over here.